Hello, we're back again. You can barely see my eyes because they just for some reason just can't open again. My eyes are never open. I don't know how I can see. It's very weird. But and we are actually we're you can't tell this. You can't tell it's amazing, but we're actually at the Super Bowl in of itself. This is my hotel room. We're chilling. We're after the end. The Niners choked again. Oh. Oh man, am I so happy. We're gonna trash the Niners. Fuck the San Francisco 49ers. Fuck them hard. Oh man. Oh, like I can't express enough my joy that they choke. I don't really like either of these teams because dynasties are kind of boring. It's like you want to see new teams win, whatever. But not this time. Oh, I hate San Francisco. Oh my god. So there's a little bit of backstory here. Obviously, I'm a proud Philadelphia Eagles fan. So, oh man, we've heard it, bro. We've heard it. They are such fucking whiners. Like, it's not even funny, man. They never take responsibility for the losses. So, the Eagles played them in the NFC Championship game last year. It happened in 2023, but it was the 2022-2023 NFL season. So it wasn't this past year. And what happened is like Brock Purdy, Kyle Shananan decided to moronically block Hassan Reddick with a tight end. And Hassan Reddick's like an all-pro edge rusher, like a really good player. And he hits Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy gets injured on the play. Now, admittedly, Brock Purdy's not always that doesn't always end up in an injury. Like your quarterback could get hit like a billion times. Like Joe Burrow would get hit like a billion times, and he wouldn't get injured, right? Stuff like that just happens. But obviously, when you let your quarterback get hit like that, so unnecessarily too, like why would you let Hassan Reddick get free shots to your quarterback? Kyle Shanahan, that's why, right? It's just, and that's a possible outcome. He can get injured. So the Niners got blown out in the game, and they just ended up never getting over that. They tried to make this rule where you should be able to carry, because it's funny, they put their backup in, and he got injured too. He got injured, so they had to put I think they ended up putting Brock Purdy in the game, and he couldn't throw the ball because his shoulder was torn basically, and so he just had to hand it off, and it was could be 3rd and 15 or something, or 3rd and 20, and they have to hand the ball off, and that's, you're not gonna come back with that recipe. So they lost the game, they got blown out, and they just made excuse after excuse after excuse. And they just wouldn't get over it. They would constantly take pot shots. Their players would call it. Eagles players like Deebo Samuel would trash James Bradbury as overrated. That's funny coming from Deebo Samuel, right? It's just funny. Funny coming from the most overrated player in the league. I'll get to this, but and it just, yeah. And then this year when they're playing in the Super Bowl during media week. Oh my god, oh man. They made every excuse in the book for why they lost to the Chiefs the last time. So basically 4 or 5 years ago they played the Chiefs. And as usual, Kyle Shanahan had a 10 to 15 point lead at half. And he ended up blowing it. The Niners blew it. Because Shanahan, I think, was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when the Falcons blew the infamous 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And so Shanahan just keeps. This is the 3rd time he's had a lead. The 3rd time he's blown it spectacularly. And just seeing him walk off the field was glorious. Because I can't stand Kyle Shanahan. The reason why the Niners brought him in, it's all confusing to me. is supposed to be, he's this offensive guru, this brilliant, oh my god, offensive mind. Wow, and fine, he probably is like a decent, they can develop talent. Like, I mean, Brandon Ayuk's really good. I mean, Kittle's really good. Like, I mean, Deebo is, I guess he's okay. He's, decent. He can make some plays, but he's not, People treat him like he's like a Hall of Famer already or something, and he's not. He's had one good season, and outside of that, it's just like 800-yard seasons. He's only topped 1,000 yards, I think, once in his career. It was the All-Pro season, but like, I don't want to be uneducated here, but he just comes across like a little bit of like a gadget player. Because it's funny because like the Eagles ended up trading for A.J. Brown, and the year that they did that, Deebo Samuel had a contract dispute with the Niners. Imagine that. He thinks it's worth way more than he is. Like, and there was actually talk of like the Jets trading the 10th overall pick for Deebo Samuel. Was Metcalf? Maybe, I don't know. The three wide receivers that were available were like Metcalf, A.J. Brown, and like Deebo Samuel. Or they were rumored to be available. And the Jets ended up picking an actual good wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. He just comes across like what is a gadget player? I mean, someone who like, it really depends. Like, if you're a coach that doesn't know, like, let's say you're a defensive coordinator who becomes a head coach, because that typically can happen, and you don't really hire the best offensive coordinator, and you trade for Deebo Samuel, or you sign Deebo Samuel, you need to be able to like again, like, I think he is a good off because he can get the most out of Deebo Samuel, but not everybody can do that. Like, I wouldn't know, I'd prefer guys who can just naturally get open, and I don't have to scheme them open or find ways to get them open. And it just feels with Samuel, like, there's too much of a, like, I was happy that the Eagles didn't trade for him because they're just, like, it just feels like he can go to a new team and he can end up not being like that great because the team just doesn't know how to use him and correctly understand, like, because he clearly does have talent, I'm not denying that, but it's just like, it's weird looking at his stats. It's like, dude, you're not Justin Jefferson, but you get talked like you are. Like, no, like, shut up. Like, actually put up a 1,000-yard season more than once, before trashing other players. So anyways, back to trashing Shanahan. I know Niners fans will call me uneducated for this, but I don't really understand the plan because he's this dynamic offensive talent, this brilliant offensive mind, and to my understanding, the reason why you bring him to San Francisco is so he can find his Mahomes. Because there's something about, like, Andy Reid, who's on the other side, who's the head coach on the other side, about, like, drafting and just developing Patrick Mahomes. And just, like, how many coaches would be able to understand and be like, okay, you need to do this, that, and the other. Like, I don't know. And he drafted Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia. Like, he clearly has some ability, right? And quarterbacks can be like a big, crapshoot and that kind of thing in the draft. It's the hardest to find. It's so hard. Like, so many first and second overall picks that are quarterbacks end up being trashed. Like Jamarcus Russell, like Zach Wilson. Like, so many of them end up just being so bad. Like, like, I mean, you look at like Trevor Lawrence. Like, Trevor Lawrence has been like okay, but even he has not been what people thought he was promised, right? Look at Robert Griffin III, right? It's so many of these high-end that we all think are going to be superstars end up flunking out. So that's kind of why I thought, because Shanahan's supposed to be like, well, I have the secret sauce, I have the secret... And then they just became a defensive team and a running team. It's like, what was the point of this? Like, I watched the the Niners, and it's like, I understand this is John Lynch's team. I get that this was the team that he would want to build. And it's like they draft, like, the Trey Lance thing was weird too, because, like, okay, fine, he's like, right? Trey Lance is an example, fine, but, like, he at least had, like, that kind of, oh, maybe he's a dual threat, maybe he's, oh my god, blah blah. Whereas, like, the Brock Purdy thing just came across like, I mean, like, I'm higher on Brock than others are, but it's really weird because it's like, all the talk about Jimmy Garoppolo and the obsession with Garoppolo and Kirk Cousins, because there's so many rumors about Kirk Cousins, and it's like, why do you want, and all this talk about, like, leading up to the draft, the Trey Lance draft, this was very interesting. So sometimes, like, the NFL does this, where it's hilarious that the draft does this, because they have this thing where, like, every year, like, you'll see this year as well. They'll always take, like, a random quarterback, and he'll skyrocket. He'll just skyrocket during the process. And eventually there's talk about him going second overall. So this draft, the Trevor Lawrence draft, was Mac Jones. And they traded up all the way from, like, 12 to 3. They gave multiple first-round picks, which fine, they're a good team. They can get over that, whatever. And there was also talk about drafting Mac Jones. It's like, why? Like, you trade up to draft Mac Jones? And it's like I think it's come out that Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, but, like, Lynch maybe wanted Trey Lance or something. I don't know. I think that's kind of, but it's weird. It's so, like, weird. It's like, because, like, and they would always talk about, like, Kyle Shanahan wants a quarterback who's just gonna get the ball out quick. It's just like, why? Like, who are you, man? Like, why? Like, this is what I don't understand about him. It's like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, he seems like a good, like, coach, good mind, or whatever, but I just don't get it. Like, it's the one thing that I hate. It's like, is this what Niners fans, like, want? Like, some just kind of, because the perception of Brock is that, okay, he can get the ball quick, but he's not like Mahomes. He's not this uber, wow, oh my god, dynamic, like, fuck you level talent. He's not Josh Allen. It's just so weird. It's like, I don't get it, you know, like, and they've lost Super Bowls with Matt Ryan's a good quarterback, but he's not Mahomes, he's not Josh Allen, and, you know, you look at, they lost with Jimmy Garoppolo, they lost with, like, Brock Purdy, and they keep losing to Mahomes and Tom Brady and these uber, like, FU talent quarterbacks. It just feels like Kyle Shanahan, who continues to choke, by the way, biggest choke artist in the world. You won't get a bigger choke artist than Kyle Shanahan. Look, the Niners talk so much trash. Yeah, so I kind of I mentioned this, but I kind of got off track. So when it comes to the whole, like, excuses they made, Nick Bosa was talking about how they held so many times. They held so many times when we lost to them in the Super Bowl. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, F you, man. Like, stop. Stop trying to, like, make these excuses and play these games. Ugh. They're just so... Oh, and then they traded, like, 3 firsts for, like... Well, I didn't trade 3 firsts for him, but who knows what... I can't remember what they traded. They traded, like, a big package for Christian McCaffrey, and just like, why? This is what I don't get about, like, Shanahan. It's like, why are you so obsessed with, like, having this great running game, great defense, but, like, the quarterback is just mid as fuck? Like, why? Like, who are you? Like, I just feel like Shanahan was just, like, Shanahan's the typical, like... He goes into the job interviews for head coach, and he sells them this river. And he's that guy who ends up lying, right? He's just like, we want to have awesome quarterback play, and then it's like... And what you get is a good defense, running back play, but, like, really shitty, like, Sam Bradford as your quarterback. It's just, like, so, like... It was... It reminds me as an Eagles fan, like, Chip Kelly traded for Sam Bradford. And then there was the Mariota rumors, and he tried to trade up for Mariota, and it's just like, this is a mess. He's this dynamic offensive mind, but then checks notes, trades for Sam Bradford. Yeah, that'll be a dynamic offense. But yeah, I just love that the Niners lost. They've been to, like, 3 Super Bowls in the last, I don't know how long, because they lost to the Ravens, then they lost to the Chiefs, then they lost to the Chiefs again, and it was a muffed punt. They lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship game a while ago via, I think it was a muffed punt. Again, muffed punts. You hate to see it, man. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. And they shouldn't have even been there. They should have lost to the Lions. They should have lost to the Packers. Darnell Savage dropped a pick 6. Would have been game over. Look, they had some fluke bullshit Hail Mary play to Brandon Ayuk where it goes off the line's defender, he drops a pick, it goes into Ayuk